All right, I guess this thing is recording. I hope the microphone's syncing up to my volume. Hey, this is Justin. If you're watching this, you probably know that. And today I am releasing an album by the band Lunar called Ultimecia. Lunar is me. The album was called The Narcissist, and the band was called Disdain. I set up a whole Facebook page about it like 4 years ago. But the idea of that was it was the same music, but it was going to be a super political album. And then I realized that for the most part, progressive death metal, prog rock stuff, and ultra political, crust style lyrics don't necessarily go together, and maybe that I'm just not very good at writing them. I'm actually going to try to do that for the Burlington Hate Factory album I'm working on now, but it just didn't work for this. In any case, that was not what this project was supposed to be. The album that you may or may not decide to hear today, Ultimecia, I started writing about 13 years ago. Yeah, that. So about 13 years ago, I went and saw Between the Buried and Me doing their Colors show. I knew a couple of their songs, but they played that night and they played their whole new album, Colors. I didn't know one song, and it was still one of the greatest shows I've ever seen. I mean, they were kind of rooted, in death metal, and then they went in all these different directions with it. They had, really delicate jazzy parts. They had, like, I don't know, bluegrass parts. Just kind of funny a little bit, but also, just showed their versatility, which they still have. And I wanted to do something like that. I went right home that night, middle of the night, and started writing that type of music. I can't play at 10% of their level of playing, but I still enjoy doing it. And I wanted to make music like that. But within a couple of years of working on that, I had gone abroad and, wasn't able to drag my amps and guitars and basses with me. And obviously I'm still abroad. If you know who I am, I haven't lived in the US like full time, at least for 11 years. Well, I'm in Mexico. I've been in Mexico for years, and I do have all my equipment. And then when my son was born in 2015, I got all nostalgic and started looking through music I'd written, and I kind of found the files. And I decided to finish writing the album. By 2016, all the music was recorded. Still fairly complicated music, so I was kind of proud of myself. And then I came here to Playa del Carmen, took a new job, got real busy, and just, little by little, I had a vacation, I'd mix it a little bit. And the original concept is what it is right now, which is I wanted to write an album about the video game Final Fantasy VIII. It's at least one of my 3 favorite video games. And I kind of thought that this project in general could be me writing about Final Fantasy games. I think the stories in those games are just really great. I think they probably illustrate using fiction a lot better, the realities of today, more than if you just said that outright. I mean, since we're kind of living in the upside down, you might as well write about fiction. So this is about the narrative and the sentiments of that game. I'd like to do it again. I really like Final Fantasy, a bunch of them. I mean, 7, 8, 9, 12, 15, 4, Chrono Trigger, they all have really great stories. So I'd like to do this again. Musically, if you're not interested in experimental progressive rock, progressive death metal, you're not going to like this. I don't think you are. Then again, if you are interested in those types of music, you're still probably not going to like this. There's a lot of things about me, for anyone who knows any of my many bands. Um, my vocal style, it's not, at least for clean vocals, is not, it's not Howard Jones. I mean, it's more of a punk singer or anything, or like the guy from Piebald, or like Daniel Johnston. Like there's nothing about my clean vocals that really fit very well into a metal album. They're just not that. But I am fine with me. So there's that also. The screaming vocals pretty much just sound like screaming vocals. So I think a lot of people are probably not going to like this. After 13 years, I don't care. And after 20 albums in 20 years with different projects, I really don't care. I've never made any effort to lend my music to people as far as, you know, trying to bring them into it. Like, my music's always been more, whether for the, you know, the Dumb Fat Kids, or A-Mom, or Terrible Storm, Burlington Hate Factory, you know, like more just trying to like kick people off like the Mechanical Bull, you know. So maybe you'll hold on. Sure, whatever. This album's really written for me, and I hope that other people like it, just like everything. So if people want to put hateful comments about it, I suggest finding a better way to use your time. Write your own music. That's probably the best thing to do. I'm really happy with it. I've never gotten to tell a narrative like this before. I think a lot of the riffs are really cool. Goes in any musical direction you could want, you know, salsa, sea shanties, whatever. And I hate to like revel in tragedy, but finally I've had a nice chunk of time at home because of the coronavirus, and it's allowed me to finish the album. In fact, I'm probably going to finish albums from Twin Peaks, not the other 16 bands called Twin Peaks, but my band called Twin Peaks, during this time. And a Burlington Hate Factory album is now fully written. I'm probably going to finish that also during this time. So, you know, I don't think it's such a terrible thing. In fact, I'm really looking forward to the great books to be written, movies to be written, music to be written by some of the great artists of the world during this time period. Because if this is just a time of watching TV and being depressed, you know, what a waste. Because creative people can really make some creative things during this time. So I hope you'll like the album. And if you don't, I hope you find something that you do like. Yeah.